What's going on, Saints fans? Is the master plan coming together for the black and gold? We're going to dive into this discussion topic and then some extra here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's program. In terms of what else we're going to be discussing, transaction alert. The New Orleans Saints made a couple of roster moves before the preseason gets started here on Sunday. The Saints traveled out to California yesterday. They got practice going on, and we are going to be live here on Saints Now by Chat Sports for NFL preseason week 1. Saints at Chargers, New Orleans, the 1.5-point favorites, and we are going to be live an hour before kickoff at 2 p.m. Central Time. So I highly encourage you not just to subscribe, but turn on your notifications and tune into the fun. Trust me, you do not want to miss the highest energy, most lit atmosphere outside of actually being at the game. Bleacher Report, they are the ones just starting this conversation off. Basically, what we're going to do is take a look at Archie Manning because new updates have come out about the Texas quarterback. Archie Manning, his grandfather and Saints legend, hinted that Arch is going to be staying in Austin for a little bit longer. The potential number 1 overall pick, maybe he's going to hang around. And why is this a discussion topic here on the channel? Well, a lot of media and a lot of people are writing off the New Orleans Saints, especially this year, saying they're going to have the number 1 overall pick. And if they did have the number 1 overall selection, well, Archie Manning would definitely make a lot of sense. You could also make an argument for maybe Garrett Nussmeier or maybe another position of need for the black and gold. But you actually might have to wait a little bit longer because when asked about the 2026 NFL draft, Archie Manning is not expected to declare. His grandfather, Archie, saying he isn't going to do that. He'll be at Texas. And as we know, this would be a storybook move for the New Orleans Saints. Archie Manning played at Isidore Newman High School. Archie, his grandfather, helped put the New Orleans Saints on the map as a football franchise. He was a starting quarterback from 1971 to 1982. So the fact that we are sitting here talking about another Manning potentially being a quarterback in the black and gold would be absolutely insane. I'll say this. The prophecy must be fulfilled. Obviously, with Spencer Rattler, there was the agenda. But this is the prophecy. His will must be done. The Mannings must come back to New Orleans and have their grandson, the next football prodigy, lead the black and gold back to the promised land. Just having fun at the end of the day. But let's talk about this master plan because that's the whole concept of this video. The master plan's coming together. What is it? Well, now that we know Archie Manning isn't going anywhere, at least for a couple of years, the master plan starts off as follows. First, in 2025, you have to establish the foundation. You have to get your perennial starters, get the trenches locked down, figure out the defense, figure out a lot of these different things in order for the New Orleans Saints to be able to move forward as a franchise. Get your culture, get your identity, figure out what the New Orleans Saints need to look like as a team, as a franchise moving forward. Clear that cap space. Move off of some of these old players. It is time to establish the future. The New Orleans Saints have been doing that. And a big thing to do when you establish the foundation of the future, it's a quarterback. That's a big decision there. So this year, you got to pick between Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shough. Kellen Moore has never shied away from the importance of establishing a backup quarterback. And by no means am I saying the main focus of this season is to go and find your future backup quarterback. That's not the plan. The ideal plan is for the New Orleans Saints to just figure it out, have their guy, and then you can just go ahead and fast-track this rebuild and start winning games. But at the end of the day, Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shough, you don't really know which one of these guys is going to be the future, so that's kind of the tough decision. So in 2026, like 2025, let's not say tank and stuff. Let's say 2026, that's when you can kind of start having this conversation. Not advocating for tanking, but maybe you be bad. Don't win a lot of games. Maybe you end up with the first overall pick because the importance of having the first overall pick, second, third, maybe even fourth, like you're going to need one of those top selections if you want to end up drafting Archie Manning. So you do this, you get into the first overall selection, and then you can go and draft Archie Manning. And then after that, guess what? 2027 and beyond, you can have the next great dynasty in New Orleans, win a bunch of Super Bowls, and get back on top of the NFL world. Obviously, there's a lot here that needs to happen. Obviously, this is a crazy topic to discuss. It's so far ahead in the future. Why are we even doing it? Like, let me just say this. I'm not rooting for the New Orleans Saints to fail. By no means do I want either of these quarterbacks, when Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shough, hell, Jake Haener for that matter, I don't want to see them be absolutely abysmal. Sunday football, that's my escape. That's your escape. That is a great way for all of us to disconnect from the real world and have something to root for. So we are in the early stages of a rebuild, and so you have to assume that everything isn't going to go perfect in year one. So in year one, let's just kind of build the foundation. Year two, that's when we can kind of see where this team's at. Maybe you're really good, maybe you're kind of bad, but that's, where we're at. Obviously, this is looking way, way ahead. Like, I have to acknowledge, this is kind of a ridiculous thing to discuss because there are also a lot of extra factors that the New Orleans Saints themselves just cannot control. Other teams are going to be losing games. Other teams are going to have injuries. The New Orleans Saints might start winning games. What if you win 4, 5, 6 games and you're out of the range to go and draft a top quarterback? Like, those are things that could happen. The March for Arch, sure, it's fun, but, you have to have a conversation on whether or not it's realistic. It won't happen until 2027, so we're going to just table this discussion for now. But the latest around Arch Manning, wanted to discuss it here on the Saints Now by Chat Sports because that's what we do here. Would you rather have Tyler Shough / Spencer Rattler work out, or would you rather just go in 2027, draft Arch Manning, and we can see Manning back on the black and gold? Get down in the comment section, type 1 or type 2. I want to hear from you. And while you're down there, you'll see this awesome hoodie. I like to call them hoodies. It's a short sleeve hoodie. You see what I'm doing there? It's on sale. The link is in the description. Go click on it down below. It was $55. Now it's $33. Go get yourself some new gear. I put the link in the comments and description down below. It's clickable. Trust me, you're going to want to get some new gear. The Saints season is going to be here before you know it. So order it now. It'll be here by week 1, and you'll be able to be looking fly all season long. Let's get to the latest, roster updates. First, we're going to go with the player that has been waived, and then we're going to talk about the player that has been brought back in. Matthew Hayball, scratch that. Actually, double scratch that. Matthew Hayball, he is the player who has been waived, the punter. He started for New Orleans last season, averaged 44 yards per punt, had a long of 64 yards. He was a UDFA that the Saints brought in. He dethroned Lou Hedley to win the punter battle last year. So this year, we have another new punter. In terms of the player that was signed, you get rid of one, you bring one back in. Welcome back to the lefty, the gambling man, Hunter Deckers, the left-handed quarterback out of Iowa State. He was waived back in July to make room for Kai Kroger, who was brought into the New Orleans Saints. They had 3 punters. Now they only have 2. That's kind of the landscape. Here's what the updated quarterback depth chart looks like in New Orleans. Reminder, Hunter Deckers was recently waived. Now he's brought back. You really can't pick QB 1, 2, or 3 quite yet because on the Saints' unofficial depth chart, they listed QB 1 is Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shough or Jake Haener. So for the sake of this graphic, I went with Spencer Rattler as QB 1 because I believe he is currently winning the quarterback battle. But all in all, that's kind of the updates around the quarterback room. Now the punter battle, we lost a punter. Matthew Hayball is gone. That means James Burnip, the UDFA out of Alabama, he is in the midst of, or in the fold for this punter battle. Kai Kroger as well. He's a player out of South Carolina. Long story short, James Burnip, really, really talented for the Crimson Tide last year. And Kai Kroger, going to be honest, don't know a ton, but clearly he was good enough to dethrone Matthew Hayball. Dennis Allen's team, a lot of the players that were here are out. And now Kellen Moore's team, a lot of his players are in. So this is kind of actually an interesting fact. Since Thomas Morstead has left, this will be the 4th punter in 5 years, I want to say. 4th punter, 5 years. We'll have 4 punters in 4 years. You had Blake Gillikin, Lou Hedley, Matthew Hayball, and then whoever it is, Kai Kroger, James Burnip. 3 years in a row, we'll have a new rookie punter. And fun fact, you could see 3 Aussie punters beat the punters in a row. Lou Hedley was an Aussie. Matthew Hayball was an Aussie. James Burnip is an Aussie. That'd be, kind of sick to see happen for what it's worth. Anyway, the Who Dat Nation, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. We obviously are a worldwide fan base, so I'm just trying to get a gauge of where you're watching from. We are here in Dallas, Texas, where the Chat Sports Studios are located, and the Dallas Cowboys lost to Dennis Allen and Derek Carr with 40-plus points. Producer Casey, he's a diehard Cowboys fan, but it was his first ever Saints video. So show him some love in the comments. Type 44 points down below, and y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.